Hello and good afternoon. We're here live from New York for day 2. We're focusing this week on inclusive design. I'm Rumiana Williams. I'm an experienced design manager at Adobe here in the New York office. And today for day 2 of 3, I have with me Sharon and Amelia. And we're going to be working on an amazing app called All Ears. We got started yesterday. It didn't get started yesterday. Yeah. We did some features on it, but today we'll pick it up, and tomorrow as well.
That's right.
And hello to everyone who's in the chat. Please let us know where you're from. And also we have a challenge, a daily challenge for you today. It's the third tab actually in the chat, and you can get an XD document with the challenge, and please submit it. We will be looking at those entries towards the end of our stream, so you get the chance to get some feedback from these ladies. So let's get started. Should we do a recap of what we did yesterday?
Let's do that.
Yeah. Cool. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you once again. And hey everyone, it's great to see you all, and welcome to the people who are coming back today to see us. So we'd like to do a quick recap before we get started into today's activity. Just to set some context about what All Ears is, it is an anonymous instant mentoring app for female professionals. We came up with the idea when we participated in the Adobe Creative Jam back in May, which we also won at, so we were super excited and we decided to take it forward. We are going to be presenting it at Adobe Max in October, and we're so glad that we're able to present it to you guys, our live audience, and we'd love to hear your suggestions, feedback, comments on any way we could make it better. We'd love to hear your stories about how you think All Ears, a mentoring app like All Ears, could help you out. So that's where we're at, and yesterday we tackled anonymity. So that is the core of our application. Would you go ahead.
So anonymity was one of the features that we found to be really important in our Mechanical Turk survey. We sent out a survey to do user research, and what we found out was that 75% of our survey answers found anonymity to be extremely important, and 25% found it to be moderately important. So we tackled that feature yesterday, and today we're going to tackle issue experience. So from our survey, 55% of our survey answers said that it was extremely important that the mentor had experience with the issue that they were facing, and 20% found it to be moderately important, 25% found it to be not important. But at the crux of the issue is that people find mentors having experience in their area very important, and also response time. Response time is also really important, so we decided to integrate issue experience and response time to create a filter, and the screen that we're going to focus on today are the mentor filters.
That's right.
That's exciting.
So
I got to test the app yesterday.
That is right. Yeah, Rumiana was very nice and gave a walkthrough of the app, which was awesome. So this was the question we tackled yesterday: how could we increase trust and accountability despite anonymity? And just to quickly review what we created yesterday, these are some of the rough sketches that we created while talking about which are the different ways in which we could show anonymity visually on the onboarding screen. So the first image that you see on the left is what we had before we came here. And during the live session, we created the middle one, which, as you can see, is super rough. Then we went back home and we created a better version of that, the paper bag. So yeah, thank you. And our live audience helped us pick out paper bag as the metaphor we could use for anonymity. So thank you for that. So yeah, these are the before and after. Yes. And along with that, Amelia, while I was sketching out the visual for anonymity, Amelia created an icon version of the paper bag, which we used on the landing page. So this icon would indicate to the user whether or not they're currently anonymous or not. And lastly, we also had an activity where we talked about how we could regulate the mentors and the mentees while they are anonymous.
A level of accountability.
Yes, because that is a challenge when you're dealing with anonymity. So again, with the help of our audience, we were able to pick out a feedback mechanism as the way to go over blocking or over directly blocking or a background check or anything of that sort. So these are a couple of mock-ups for that. So as you can see, just 2 simple questions. What you see on the left is what we created during the stream. Then again, we went back, created a fair version of that. So we have question 1, was the mentor helpful? Yes or no? Question 2, was the mentor professional? So in the case of helpful, if they get, say, 10 strikes, they could be suspended and again brought back after review. But in the case of if they weren't professional, they probably need to be suspended after a fewer number of strikes, say 3 or 5, because that is just not acceptable.
Exactly. So this is a way for us to get feedback on, it's a reactive way to get feedback, but at least it's a level of accountability we can hold our mentors to.
Absolutely.
I like the changes you made after we were done with the stream. We got done late.
We did.
So you guys must have stayed up late to do those.
Super excited. So this is all we're thinking about right now.
Yeah.
So.
Because user research is great. It really dictates a lot of our decisions.
It does. It does. So that was yesterday. Today, this is the question we're going to be tackling. How might we sort the list of available mentors? So right now in our application, what we have happening is we have the mentor list sorted by default based on the problem match. So at onboarding, the person is asked to choose the problem areas that their request is related to. And what the app does, what All Ears does, is it matches those problem categories with the problem categories that mentors have said they have experience dealing with. So this is what the list looks like right now. As you can see, there's a lot of text on there. There's some icons. We think some of the text is probably too small.
Yeah.
So this screen is the most important screen of All Ears, so it needs some more love, some more work. And that is what we're going to be doing today. And we're going to do that through Crazy Eights.
Yep.
Great.
So, yep. Okay.
And yesterday you had a lot of participation from the audience. Did you prepare surveys again?
We do have
We
one
have a
survey.
survey.
Yeah,
That was fun.
One planned for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. But for anyone in the chat, please send us any questions you might have, because you have the chance to win a prize because you will be chatting with us.
Absolutely.
I mean, not only because of that, because you will get some great feedback.
Yep.
And suggestions also. We're open
Absolutely.
to suggestions, right? As you work.
Absolutely, yes, please do. So before we get started with our Crazy Eights, we'd like to ask our audience a question, and related to your mentoring experience, mentoring and mentor-mentee experience. So we'd like to hear from you, what is important to you in a mentor-mentee relationship? When you're looking for a mentor, what are the things you look for? Is timing important? Is the fact that they are from your industry important? Or is it important that they have experience dealing with the same sort of problem that you are going through in that moment? We'd love to hear from you. And while you have the answers coming in on the chat, we would like to walk through a user journey of one of our
We're going to do a user
personas.
journey.
Yes.
Let's pull out the iPad. Oops. All right.
So the purpose of this user journey and this case study would be to walk through the experience of Jess, who could be one of our prospective users, persona, if you will. Go through a situation that Jess went through during which she needed mentoring, immediate guidance, or someone whom she could immediately chat with about her experience. So we're going to map out her journey and see at which point in that journey she could use something like All Ears. So we're talking about Jess. Jess is a mid-career level business analyst at a successful product company. Jess loves her job. She has amazing colleagues. She gets along well with everyone, with the exception of product owner Joe. So Joe's great. He holds his teammates to high standards. He expects great things from them. And while Jess appreciates his efforts to get the most out of his team, the one thing that she takes issue with is the fact that he micromanages things. So this one particular afternoon, Jess gets out of a meeting with Joe feeling frustrated and angry. So what had happened was Jess had proposed some ideas to Joe about a project that they were working on, and Joe apparently had brushed off her suggestions and instead spent the meeting telling her what he thought the best way to go about the project should be, something that we've all faced at some point or the other. So Jess doesn't say anything in that moment. She comes out of that meeting, and the first thing she does is she takes her phone and she fires out 2 angry text messages to 2 of her close personal friends, because that's what we do, right? We reach out to the people who are closest to us, whom we are most comfortable with. But those people aren't always available when we need them. She still sends out the message. She doesn't get a response immediately, but she feels good right away because she has vented at that point.
She gets empathy from her friends.
Exactly. So when her friends do respond, she feels a little bit more better, but the only thing missing in the equation there is while her friends are sympathetic and are trying to be empathetic, they're not quite there yet because they aren't from the same industry and they can only put themselves in her shoes to a certain extent, and they can't really understand the extent of her problem because they don't get her space. So she then thinks of her mentor, Nathan. So Nathan is someone she meets through her company mentoring program. She has once a month meetings with Nathan, which sometimes get postponed because Nathan has other things to do. She has other things to do. So she feels like it'll be really awesome if she could chat with Nathan at that point. But the fact is Nathan is a product owner too. And he's busy and he's not often available at short notice. She sends him an email and sure enough, he doesn't respond right away. So although Nathan is a safe space for Jess, the fact is he's not available when she needs him. So in that moment is not of any use to Jess. So what Jess does is she just continues with her job and the cycle eventually repeats maybe next week or the next month. There's no end to it if she doesn't talk to someone about it and figure out what would be the best way to react the next time Joe brushes off her ideas again. So what does Jess do in this case? What does her journey look like?
So I've started by drawing the meeting. The meeting is the initial point. That's when Jess feels sad. So I'm going to change the color to red. Oops. Whoa. One sec. So Jess feels sad initially. And then she texts her friends, and at the friend level, she's feeling sad, so she needs empathy. Her friends respond, so that makes her feel a little bit better. So she gets the empathy she wants, and then she texts Nathan. She's still unhappy because she doesn't receive a response. So what happens next? So in this flow, Jess ends up a net negative. She doesn't feel good about herself because she's not getting anything she needs, and her mentor's not available because he's her official mentor for her at work through the official work mentoring program. They meet maybe once or twice a month, but he's not responding to her message when she needs him. So what's she gonna do? So the cycle may continue. She might feel bad, and then she might feel good again, and then there's another meeting. So this is what the current cycle looks like. There's a net negative because there's a lot of unmet needs. Like Jess is not getting the empathy she needs. She's not getting the advice she needs to continue in her area, and it's just a cycle of negativity until Jess decides to either quit or her product manager will leave, or she will leave. So this is a problem because this leads to the issue of women in the workplace and being female retainment in the workplace. So this is the problem we're trying to solve right now, this user journey. How can we flip it? How can we change it? How can we change the conversation so all this net negative can either create a net positive by positive experiences or just generate a positive experience from or an upward trajectory from the friend's response? Absolutely.
So soon after Jess gets out of the meeting, that's the perfect time to fire up all ears. If she wants to talk to her friends first, that's fine. If they're not there for her in that moment, all ears is there for her, and her mentors are literally all ears because it will help you find someone who has experience dealing with the problem that you are dealing with in that moment. So I'd love to see what our
It looks
audience
like we
is
had
saying.
some suggestions about the question. There was same industry, there was list, suggestions. We also got, what else did we get? I think that's all I caught.
Okay, let's see. So someone who experienced the good, bad, and in between. Yep.
Yeah.
My mentor should at least be more experienced than I am. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah. So sorting based on experience would be a big factor. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. How do we gather information or scenarios to create problems to solve? So the question is asking how we can create sample scenarios, I guess.
Yeah.
So The app at the moment doesn't have a database of past problems that have been answered, although we did talk about that
Right.
as a potential feature, which would particularly be useful in the offline mode, right? Where
Yeah.
in case.
But everything's user generated, right?
It
so
is.
until that comes,
Yep.
have you thought about when this becomes a real app, like how do you deal with like the initial launch? Because you're gonna need something, right?
Yes. So we are going to need a pool of mentors already
Yeah.
available. So we aren't there yet. But
Do you contact them prior to that?
We would, I guess.
Yeah.
We're thinking on our feet here, but I think we would have to create that initial pool
Yep,
before we
there
can
has to be
launch
a
the
pool.
app.
Right.
Because we don't want to launch it and it's a ghost town. That
Right.
wouldn't work.
And we're going to actually tackle that problem of getting the pool of mentors tomorrow when we talk more about incentives
Oh,
for mentors to
great.
join.
Great.
Absolutely.
That would be very interesting. So stay tuned and
Yeah.
come back tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yes.
Same time,
Yes.
same place.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Do you ever use Adobe Comp for sketches as well? Have you ever used Adobe Comp? Because you
No,
guys are
Adobe
new to
Comp,
the mobile
no.
apps. They haven't, but they were using Sketch, Adobe Sketch, for the first time yesterday,
Yes.
which was
Right.
fantastic for me to watch. A little bit of user testing. So you did some on me, I did some on you.
Yeah. There's equal
Yeah.
exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Maybe we can look at a couple more before
Yep.
we go to our
Yep.
main activity for the day. Well, let's see. I guess let's scroll back up, maybe, if we missed anything.
Or we can create a user flow of the positive user journey which we're trying to solve or create for.
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
right now we have a net negative. So how are we going to create a more positive user journey for Jess? Let's create a new board. That's so sad. Jess looks so sad. So,
And we have 10 minutes for chat and win, so send us questions, please.
all right. So now we're going to use blue as our color for a positive experience. So we're going to start off again with, let's make this a little larger. We'll have our, oops, oh,
That color picker.
yeah, that color picker. All right. So we're going to have, oops, whoa.
Are you trying to do blue?
I'm trying to do black for now. but
Okay.
Use blue as a highlight color. All right. Let's give it a shot now. So we've got our timeline here.
Yep.
And now we're going to mark different areas. And ideally, we want to have a net positive in our user journey. So this is an ideal journey. It doesn't exist yet. This is what All Ears is going to aim for, an ideal journey. So we've got our meeting. So here's the initial meeting that Jess has with her product manager. And they get into a disagreement. She feels belittled. She doesn't feel great. So then she texts her friends. She gets empathy. And so she feels a little bit better about it, but she still feels bad. So there's a little bit of an increase. She feels a little bit better. Response. And then she texts Nathan, her mentor. Nathan's not there right now, so she doesn't feel great. No response. But she uses All Ears and logs into All Ears. Let's see. AE.
She's very hopeful at this point that she finds someone.
Exactly. And then she uses the categories, searches for a mentor, filters to a mentor. She speaks her problem, so she feels like she can vocalize. So vocalizing problems.
Yep.
She feels heard because she connects to a mentor. So she connects to a mentor. They chat, text, or call. Advice is given. And then she feels heard. Feels heard and actionable, and gets actionable advice.
Absolutely.
All right.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
here I'm going to highlight all the areas that are negative versus positive so we can figure out what the net negative is versus the net positive. So right now, the initial text to friends, she's not feeling great, so that's a net negative. she gets a response, and she gets some sort of empathy, so actually that's a positive because it's increasing. So that would be blue. So she gets a net positive here. Then she texts mentor. Her mentor Nathan isn't available, so it's kind of flat. It's neutral. She gets no response. That's kind of frustrating. I would say that's a net negative.
Yeah.
No response. But then she logs into all ears. She's hopeful. She's optimistic this is gonna work. So she logs in, that's positive. She speaks her problem. So it allows her to vocalize her problem, speak up about her problems. And then she connects to a mentor. So she feels like she's being heard, where she can text or call them. She receives advice from the mentor. And at the end of the day, the idea is for her to feel heard and get actionable advice. So there's an entire new blue net positive that is created from all ears. We try to minimize the negative experiences and increase Jess's positive experiences in this user journey. So this is the ideal journey.
Absolutely. And for this to work, Jess has got to be able to find the right mentor quickly, which brings us back to our activity for the day.
Ooh, that's my favorite part.
Yes.
There was a question about mentor not in the same region and country. How are you going to resolve that? Or how do you approach it, rather?
Yeah, so as long as that wasn't a part of Jess's criteria, if it doesn't matter to Jess where this mentor is from, but it just matters to her that this mentor has experienced the same problem that she has, that shouldn't be a problem at all, as long as they're both available at the same time to chat. And she'll in fact get a different perspective on things because of the differences.
Right. That's a great point.
Yep.
So what's the exercise?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked. We're going to be doing some crazy eights.
Ooh,
So
what are crazy eights for those people who don't know?
Yes. So Crazy Eights is a classic brainstorming activity where you start off with a single sheet of paper. Why don't we do it while we're talking? But just for the purpose of being legible, should we do it on 2 sheets of paper?
Yes.
4 each?
Yeah.
So traditionally, you take a large sheet of paper and you fold it till you get 8 squares or rectangles, depending on your paper size. But we're just going to fold it twice so that our sketches are large enough for you guys to see it. So now we have 8 rectangles.
8 rectangles.
8 rectangles. So what we're going to do in the first round is we're just going to take 8 minutes to sketch out 8 ideas on different layouts for the mentor list, different ways to sort the mentor list, anything at all that can help make the mentor list more efficient and easy for the user to quickly find the right mentor for her purpose. That is round 1, and then after that we're going to be presenting what we sketched. We'll be discussing it, sharing it with each other and with you guys, and we'll steal ideas from each other if we want in that round, and we'll go back and we'll do round 2, which is 4 sketches this time. We'll get double the amount of time this time for each sketch. And each sketch would be a combination of 1 or more ideas, or if all of a sudden we got a new idea, we could do that too. And once again, present it to everyone. And in the last round, we will come together and together work on just one idea that combines the best aspects of a selected number of options that we discuss and decide on.
Yep, we're going to do the diverge-converge method.
Exactly.
Great.
And in the end, we're going to be creating an XD prototype mock-up of the selected concept.
And while you're drawing, there's 3 more minutes for chat and win, so keep chatting with us.
All right.
Awesome.
While you're sketching, rather.
Yeah, so how we're thinking of doing this is one of us will do it on paper and one of us will do it on the iPad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. If you can show that in the split screen view.
Yep.
And you guys did a lot of paper sketches yesterday
We
on
did.
notes and on the iPad.
Yep.
It seems like you do really well collaborate together in the beginning stages, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of mixed media. We like to start tangible and messy in the beginning because you don't want to be constrained by the medium that you're working on.
Yeah, because sometimes you want to come out with a lot of ideas and be an ideas person and ideate really quickly. And then it gives you the opportunity to come up with all the ideas and toss them.
Yes.
Great.
Exactly.
We're setting up here.
Because ideas are $0, but when you start investing a lot into your prototype, then you start getting all invested, you have all your beautiful visuals, and you have to throw it away, and that's so sad. So we paper prototype pretty quickly.
Absolutely.
Paco.
Thanks, Paco. Yeah, he had to switch a lot yesterday.
Yeah, we're keeping him busy.
Yes. So we have 1 minute and 44 seconds for Chat and Win.
So I guess we could get a head start while that happens.
Yes. Should I keep it all on this for now, or do you? How do you want to do it? 4.
Do you want to do 4 at a time?
Yeah, let's do 4 at a time.
Awesome. Well, let's bring in Todd's awesome timer.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Making it
This is the favorite part.
How long should we do it for?
8 minutes.
We have. We're gonna have to take a pause in 1 minute.
Okay.
Should we just start it after the chat and win?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Well, you can get. I mean, you can get started. I
We'll
guess.
think.
We'll think.
Yeah.
We're gonna brainstorm.
Yes. Great. Cool. Should we ask the chat a question so they can get chatty?
Yeah.
What do you think of today's activity? Anything? Do you think we should be doing something else?
Todd says rock.
Todd, thank you.
Yay!
Hi, Todd.
We sure will. Thanks to your timer.
Yeah. Hi, Todd.
Yep.
Cool. Do you usually do this crazy 8s in your daily practice as
We
designers?
do. We do. We do it a lot with our project teams.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's so quick and rough is great. Because
great.
not everyone can draw quickly. So they feel better when they see that it's rough sketching.
Exactly. And people don't get scared to share their ideas.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, you guys can get started.
Okay, we're gonna draw our rectangles
it.
and start getting set
Yeah,
up.
get started.
4 at a time.
4 at a time.
Yes.
Wait. All right.
We could keep it at 10 since we're gonna be interrupted.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. We're gonna stay at 10.
Yeah.
Do it
And
10.
make sure it's on. We're on.
Awesome.
Yeah, and oh, it's time. Chat and win.
Shannon?
It really crept upon us. Yeah. Chat and
So
win.
do we ask them a question?
Yes, ask them a question, quick.
Okay,
Something
so
that is
what
a
are your
quick
favorite
response.
interaction design patterns?
Wow, that's a long answer.
Yeah, like, do you like drop downs? Do you like sliding?
Yeah.
Do you like pushing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ease in, ease out? What do we like? What do we
What
like?
are your favorite transitions?
Okay, we're back.
Hey everyone.
Hey.
Swipe.
Ease in, ease out, ease in, ease
Everyone
out.
likes
Drop
ease in,
downs.
yeah.
Ease out.
Ease in.
You
Okay,
can do
no
all
swipe,
these things.
actually.
You can do all these things in XD.
Yeah.
Have you played with the prototyping?
We did. We tried the ease in, ease out.
We tried push
Up the
too.
scrolling, push.
Yeah.
Yes. Still thinking, okay, I don't know, and win. Guess
And
something.
Point
What do you
2
know about
seconds.
interaction design?
Accordions.
Accordion.
Yeah.
Accordions.
Okay.
Ease
Drop
and
downs
pop.
limit your real estate. Interesting point. The best is to have the least as possible. Yeah.
Swipe.
Wisdom.
Pop.
Swipe, slide,
Like
pop.
these. You can do all these.
Chicago reference.
Oh, nice,
Feels
nice,
like
nice. Dissolve.
Dissolve. They're all pretty diff depending on the situation.
This is
Yep,
true.
yep.
Dissolve.
Dissolve. Love.
Ease
Okay,
out.
Ease out, because I use it
Wow,
too.
this is very specific.
Yeah.
I love it.
Detailed.
Okay,
else
wait,
do
we
we
have a
have?
winner.
Alyssa!
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Alyssa.
So you win a hardcover notebook from moo.com, which is very amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Alyssa.
So you can do all these sketches, all the crazy 8s, and all the other sketches you did yesterday.
Yes.
So good inspiration these 3 days. So congratulations, Alyssa.
Awesome. Great. So
Great.
Cool. So we can get
back
going.
to our crazy.
Your
Let's
clock
get
has
It's at
started.
8
It's at
actually.
8. Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Crazy 8s. Let's
So
do
we're
it.
going to be switching between my paper and Amelia's iPad.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're gonna start having 4 and 4. because of screen, real estate.
Just gonna do the same to keep it neat.
Yep.
What should I do while you guys are drawing?
You can join
to be
us.
drawing.
You can join us,
Here.
yeah.
Really?
Or comment
Yeah.
on us, yeah.
No, I'll comment. I'm the covering art director person. I just feel a little bit like I have nothing to do with my hands.
You should sketch.
You can
yes.
sketch. Everyone can sketch.
No.
This is what
And
Crazy
you
Eights
can-
is all about.
Or you can give live
Yeah.
commentary as we sketch.
Okay, I'll give live commentary. I'll ask you
Yes.
questions because this is why I'm here.
Okay. Distract us.
It's kind of one of the harder questions for me is where do you
Filters.
go to look for inspiration?
In general, like for visual design, there's always Dribble and
Behance,
Behance. Yes.
Yay, Behance. 'Cause we're here.
Yep.
Yeah.
For
In
other
life?
stuff in life.
Instagram actually is pretty good too.
And we
Me
go to
too.
our users. We
Yeah.
like that's the best way.
Yeah.
So
What about people in the chat? Where do you go for inspiration? I never like that question.
Okay.
Filter is gonna look.
Let's do this.
And I don't know if the Moo notebook actually comes with dots.
Let's see, filters.
So we got to produce 8 sketches in 8 minutes. So
Do we like
we,
filters?
we might ignore everyone for a bit.
So we default to
Pinterest, that's a good one.
Pinterest is great.
Yes. YouTube, ArtStation, museums, always. We have lots of lovely museums here in New York. Muesli,
Okay, what else?
Google, Behance,
Match.
Nice.
Response time.
Dribble, Behance, Google. I'm still reading. There is time left for the Adobe review. We probably have an hour. So go create something in XD and send it to us and we'll give you feedback. Oh, tomorrow we're doing Behance portfolio reviews. So you have probably a day to continue creating work and send it to us tomorrow. So you can send it throughout the day. You'll get feedback from the other 2 segments. And then we will be here at the same time from 4 to 6, our time. I'm trying to distract them.
Crazy
Okay,
Eights.
7.
Gotta come up with 8.
I know.
Wow. Yes, and this is the final segment, so you can get reviewed and make updates to your designs.
Yes.
And yesterday we talked briefly about, this is one of my favorite topics, how do you transition from not being a designer to a designer? And there was the mention of I had a portfolio and that's how I got the job. I think Amelia said that.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're really interested in something, just share it, put it out there for the rest of the world to see and create a conversation around it. And I think that's the best way to get noticed
Exactly.
and show the world that you have potential.
No, because at the end of the day, it's how you explain your portfolio, your designs, your thought process. Everyone wants to know about thought processes and your design process.
Right.
So.
Yes. Taking photos is good. Yes, that I agree. They each got 2.
Live commentary, I see.
I know. Because I can see both of you and yeah.
Ooh, I'm upside down. Is there a way to flip it? Oh, well.
Oh, because you're drawing. You have to draw in
Sideways.
landscape, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. That's okay.
You can have
I'll
2.
go back.
You'll have 2 landscape. You can actually switch them, but it might change.
Oh, I have 4 minutes. I better sketch quicker.
You can transform your layer.
Oh, great.
If you want to flip it, you got to go to the layer, tap on it once,
Yep.
and then transform.
Oh, got it. Got it. So I can flip it.
Yep. So you can flip it, and then it will change how everything looks, but you could do that.
Whoa.
You can also pinch and
Oh,
do your hand.
haha.
This is
This is not happening for me.
no. You can undo and just switch. Sorry, I'm not trying to slow you down. I'm not trying. This is not a competition.
Wait, what just happened? Oh well, I'm gonna go rougher then.
You can go back.
Let's see, how else do you filter?
So we still have 4 minutes.
Still a little time.
Yeah.
And 51 minutes to submit for the challenge to get a review. Yes, they are fast at sketching. I noticed that too myself. So there's a question.
Next sheet.
If
Next
the
sheet,
app,
yes.
if the app is specifically for women, because Kevin feels that men might have the same problems.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We talked about this briefly
We
yesterday.
did, yes. So it started out as an app for women because the prompt of the competition that we were participating at was elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room that we picked was the Me Too movement.
Exactly.
That is how this started out as an app for women. But we do see it becoming an app for everyone in the future.
And men can also be mentors, for sure. We want to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah. And I guess it's much easier to start thinking about a project when you have a smaller segment that you think of, right? And
Absolutely.
then afterwards you
can
continue expanding.
Expand the scope. That's
Yeah.
very true.
Filters. Any cool filters you've seen?
And Amelia is using Adobe Sketch to be drawing. It's free in the App Store for iOS and Android. I'm going to do my little spiel. And it's pixel drawing, and you can actually send your sketches to Photoshop and use Photoshop brushes. So it's pretty powerful, actually. We have, I think, 1 minute,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
2 minutes. It looks like we have 5 sketches
Yeah.
each.
So it's often
6.
not always possible to have 8, although we tried with that as the objective.
Yeah.
You probably don't have someone talking to you while you're working though. And camera and lights.
That's true. That is true.
So we'll give you -2.
Default to 2 maybe. Experience.
Okay, I have gig and color.
Response. Scroll.
So fast.
What are, how about this? Never thought about this.
It's time.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh well.
Oh well. Maybe finish this one and then
Yes.
you got 6.
I want to just finish
4.
this idea. Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Should we get going?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I start?
What's the average number of generating ideas, or is 8 a must if possible?
8 is ideal.
It's nice when you have a lot of ideas to work with, but then again, quality versus quantity, you've got to make that decision. You don't want to just sketch for the sake of it.
And Kevin has another good question. If
Yeah,
you're going to
I
vet the mentors.
Ideally, when we get our pool, it'll be people that we know. We came up with an idea yesterday. Our idea was to kind of link accountability with anonymity, and our idea of vetting mentors would be to have like a feedback loop after the mentor and mentee met.
You could look at our screen right now.
Yeah.
Paco? Yeah.
After the mentor-mentee met, they would have a feedback mechanism or a feedback loop where you could type in whether or select whether summer days your mentor is helpful or professional.
Yeah.
And obviously professional is really important, because if they're not professional, that's probably a strike and you're out. But if they're not helpful, that might just be a situation. We'd probably review that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a level of accountability.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Okay. So
Are we going to be voting on these again?
We are. So
Yes.
before we go to the next, in fact, we're going to be finishing the next round before we do the voting, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Should we go through
we
which
will.
one?
Yeah. Do you want to start?
Yeah,
Since you
sure.
know it, yeah.
Okay. We're starting with the iPad.
With the iPad.
Yep. Okay. So for my ideas, number on the left, there is experience and time. So there might be kind of like an underline that flips. So it's a very subtle visual cue. It would default to probably experience because from our data so far, experience is something that people or your users would find the most important. So there'd also be one mentor that you could reach out to that would be online and available. So it just narrows the choice down to one to make things easier. The second idea I had would be to have kind of like a carousel. It slides around. You can select based on whether you are looking for someone with experience, time, or is very responsive. And so that's another alternative. Another alternative is just to have the two categories you'd find most important in selecting a mentor and the images of people who are the mentors who might be online and available that match your best match currently. So it defaults to one and you could just swipe through and figure out what you're looking for most. And similarly, I have a kind of like a circle bubble kind of version of the carousel. So that's what I have here.
Awesome.
On the other one, let's zoom in. I've got a choose a mentor filter, and it's similar to the other ideas where there's experience and it's on one kind of card, time and industry. And the next one is chat of an expert, and it has kind of two mentor options per category. The top one says experience, there are two options. Time, there are two options. And there's also another, in my third version, it just defaults to how many or how long someone's been in the industry. So there are different versions of similar ideas based on a filter that kind of zooms in on what's important for you and selects one or a limited amount of mentors. Maybe two is the right number, maybe three, but it's a limited amount of mentors that you can connect to for you to make the choice to make that connection.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep, those are fantastic. And there was an applause in the background for your sketches.
Applause.
No, it was from The Office.
Oh, wow.
I think there was a comment. Val heard it.
Applause.
Yes,
Awesome.
we're in an actual office.
Yep.
Great. Thanks, Amelia. So we'll go over the rest of them too before we vote
Yep.
for an idea. Okay, great. So let's see here.
That's a better view.
Start with one here. So before I start explaining what I have here, how I was thinking was list view versus grid view, when to use what. And I was thinking since this is going to be an anonymous app, the photo isn't going to be as important as it's going to be, as it is usually in a list of people, because it's just going to be an avatar in most cases, because we're guessing most people won't go anonymous. So I went with, I started off with list view for that reason. So what I have here is a single row, a very short tile per item. If you see in our current example, each tile is quite large, so you can only see 4 mentors on the screen at a time. So what I have here is just a single row with the name on the left-hand side, and then I have the 5 different ways the 5 different parameters by which you can sort the list. So these are, I've just shown them here in the expanded state, in the bottom, enlarged state. So these
icons
thank you.
on the bottom.
Great icons.
So these 5 categories that I have here are problem match. So if I've specified 3 problems, does the mentor satisfy, or does the mentor have experience dealing with all 3, or is it just 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3? So that number would be shown over there with the icon. And then I have response time. How soon does this person typically respond? And this next icon was supposed to be a bicep, but that got a little skewed. So that was meant to stand for professional experience. How many years have they been in the industry? And this next one we actually talked about yesterday, the number of times that they have had a conversation on all years. So we show that count. There's a number of responses or number of all years conversations. And lastly, their location, their distance from me. So if I wanted to meet this person in person.
And there was a question earlier about the location, so this would be perfect.
Yes. So that was my first concept. And with this next one, so for the first one, I was thinking photo isn't important. So for the next one, I was thinking actually that is the name even important? Because the name is going to be a pseudonym as well. So why let the name occupy space if that's not going to be one of the things that's going to help you make a decision? So I've removed the name altogether from this wireframe, and I just have space for the 5 icons that I have here. Once again, I've not drawn the icons, but they're going to be these same 5 icons. So each square would have icon plus the number related to that. So the match, is it 3 out of 3, 3 out of 5, response time, professional experience, number of responses, and location. No name. That's concept number 2. And this next concept that I have here, once again, does not show the name, does not show the picture. But what's changed here is each tile, each square of each row will not have the icon. We'll only show all the icons at the very top, the topmost row. And we'll have it set up. The visual design has to be great for this one to work. We'll align each number under the icon on top. So for each row, we'll only have a bunch of numbers that correspond to the column header that's directly above it. Plus, I realized that numbers alone will be confusing. So we could bring in something like a color coding, so that the people can just look at this list and see just by the saturation, or rather the darkness of the color, the opacity of the color, how good that particular number is for them to enter. So if it is super dark in problem match, then so they rank high in that category. If it's super dark, under years of professional experience, and that's what you are looking for as a mentee, then you can pick that person. And again, if you tap any of these headers, any of these icons, that should become the sort option for that for the list. So if I tap problem match, this entire list will rearrange.
That's going to be a beautiful database.
It will, right? Yeah. So if I tapped on the first column, if I tapped on problem match, then the first row would be a beautiful gradient. Because the list will be sorted based on
And your colors were really
match.
beautiful too. You got a lot of compliments on those yesterday.
That's what you did. Thank you, guys. So that one's based on color. But then I was thinking, color is great, but then we need to take into consideration users who are colorblind. So we can't just use color alone as a single means of that could help people skim the list. We need to take into account color blindness. So then we could use shading. So if I were to use this diagonal hatching sort of thing to shade the squares, we could play around with the density of the hatching along with colors. So if it is super tight, that means it's high value for that parameter. Super loose, it's not. And of course, you can see the number as well as an overlay on top of it. Again, no pictures and no names, because those are not decision-making factors.
It's more textures. Very interesting.
It is. So this would be a fun thing to work on. And then two more, yes. My last two. With my last two, I was exploring grid. But again, although it is grid, we are not bringing back the name and the picture. So this is a layout difference. I'm not going to talk about this part. What I am going to talk about is this top part that you see over here. Once again, I have the 5 sort options listed on top here as icons and on tiles. So in the default state, we'll only enable one sort option, which would be the problem match, because like we talked about yesterday, that's the most important criteria that we're looking for in the mentor, that they have experienced the problem that you're facing. So that'll be the only sort option enabled in the start. And this concept brings in layering sort options. So I want to start off with that being my primary sort option, but then I also want to layer and say that problem match is most important to me, but I also want to sort it based on number of years of professional experience, but that's second most important. So how you can do that with this interface is I long press on an item, and then it lifts off from the interface like that, and then I can place it wherever I want it. And so I'll first have to enable the sort options that I want, and then I can long press and move them around, and the list would rearrange itself based on the sort options.
Gamification almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting, yeah.
And once again, here we would have color coding, just like we talked about with the previous idea. And I also have explored the same thing for shading as well. So shading would be the way to go if we were to go this route. So those are my 6 options.
Great. Should we get people to vote?
Yeah.
So how many total we have?
We have,
You have
let's see,
6,
6 plus
4?
8.
No,
Yes.
you have 8.
She has 8,
I
yes.
forgot that you had
There's
2
a lot
pages.
of overlap though.
There is.
Yeah.
So we were actually going to vote only after the next round too.
Yeah,
Do you
because
wanna
now
do-
we can narrow it down to. Then we'll have
Okay.
4
Let's
and
do
4
that.
to vote. From.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was round 1. We'd love to hear from you what you thought of that.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
we go into round 2.
Let's do it. And there's still 37 minutes for submitting to our challenge, so we can give you some feedback in this segment today. It's the last one for the day.
So before we go into round 2, though, we need to figure out which are the aspects of our sketches that we want
liked.
to
Yep.
steal from. So I like the fact that you had a default mentor selected in one of your
Yeah, I like
concepts
that too.
to
Yeah, because
reduce the effort.
make it easier for users. Because sometimes when you get too many choices, you get confused. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a default, but you can pick someone else if
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah,
want to talk
yeah.
to them.
And for anyone that's watching, please also chime in and let us know what you think,
Yeah,
since you
Yeah.
saw all of these.
absolutely. Which one was your favorite of the ones that you drew? I'm curious.
These are all really similar. I think when I was drawing these, I was focusing more on the interactions. So I think that I want to give the user an alternative, although it's nice to default to 1. So I'm thinking maybe one of these 2 with a secondary option hidden.
We actually can't see which ones you're pointing to.
I'm looking I'm pointing
Circle
at,
it or something.
yes, I'm pointing, I'll use a different color to,
You could also, there's
yellow.
touches on these, but I won't. I'll tell you after how to turn them on.
I like this one and this one because there's a secondary option,
Yeah.
Great.
but it's not,
I thought those are my favorite. The top, the corner right, was my favorite
that one?
because it gave prominence. Yeah. And I like the
Yeah.
swiping. It's very iOS.
Yeah.
But it could also work on Android as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Or web.
Or
When you
web.
get to the web.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
these. Yeah, I think that
There's no way to flip them.
there's no.
You can flip
Oh,
them
you could-
actually. You can flip them in
By
the
selecting
layers.
the layer.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta go to transform. It's a little,
Transform,
yeah, and you can do it with your finger. Do you want me to do it for you? You can do it with 2, like this.
Oh, there you
Here we go.
Oh my gosh, I'm a magician.
This is user feedback, obviously.
Fat fingers.
Awesome.
So here, I guess what I really liked was, I guess you can choose. I guess this chat with an expert element, and having a first thing you default to. I like having a second option, but like maybe that's like a secondary kind of thing,
Yeah.
similar to.
So I'm curious, how would you figure out who is the expert?
I think it would depend on the category. So
Right. All right.
it's kind of like yours.
Right.
Where if it's like you have the most overlaps or the darkest colors, then that's your default person.
Right.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're calling the ones who align most with your requirements experts for your purpose.
Exactly, exactly. So the experts are the people who are the darkest in yours, and ideally you're given someone who's you have the most matches of in terms of categories and experience. So that's the darkest person, and that would probably be the default.
Yeah.
If we go with the carousel, then you can switch it to someone who's second darkest.
Yeah. So those are the all yours recommended mentors. for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Awesome. So
Let's go to yours.
Yeah. Let's see. Which one did you like?
Definitely, I like the shading.
The shading,
too.
right?
That was
my
that would be
favorite.
fun. So we're talking about this one,
Yeah. That would be really beautiful.
these two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shading and texture.
Yeah.
I like the first one as well, with all the cute icons.
Yeah. But the icons are going to be there on all the screens.
I know.
It's just that I drew it only
The
on
drawing
this
was
screen.
great.
Yeah. They're great.
Yes.
Thank you. What are your thoughts on not showing the name and the image, the photo?
I think that I think that some sort of avatar is somewhat important. I don't know if we could go away of not showing the image, because people like to, I mean, avatars are created because people want some sort of human connection.
Yeah. Just so they can relate with the personality of the person, if not the identity.
Exactly. You're like, maybe this is your avatar. You might look like this. I'm thinking like Ready Player Go, where everyone had an avatar.
Yeah.
And yesterday you had the exercise of like maybe everyone gets a different avatar.
Yep.
I actually think that you should have the name. Maybe it's not the most important thing on the page, but I think it's important to kind of set so you can read through the list.
Right.
Because that's what you used to. I mean, it's a person. That's how you make them like relate to this person because they have a name.
Right. So you can identify them again next time, maybe. Yeah, that's very valid.
Yes. Kevin also says you need an icon.
Yeah.
Okay. One take.
Yeah.
Just in case a
and
mentor
Val.
gets advice more than
Good
one
point.
mentor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You can play with the scale, obviously.
Yeah.
So maybe your
You need to be able
default.
to tell the
Yeah.
difference.
Exactly.
Maybe
You're
you
right.
don't need the industry to show always, or organization. Does it matter where they work?
Well,
as
if you're
much?
looking for someone who's not at your company, because you
Right.
want to talk to someone
Right.
else.
Because maybe you can exclude them.
Yeah, that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you had that idea yesterday.
Yes,
I remember we
yes,
talked
yes.
about it briefly.
We do.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
experts
Have
can
a-
have a certain avatar color.
That's a fantastic idea,
Yeah.
actually.
Or have all the avatar experts wearing a certain hat or icon. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And yesterday you had the whole like dress up.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
it? Masquerade.
We
yes.
did.
Yeah.
That's great, Ariel.
I think there was a sketch actually. Oh, there is the sketch.
That
Can we
is-
show that really quick?
This is the celebrity
Yes.
disguise.
I love that you kept it your screen.
I like that sketch.
Actually.
Yeah.
You get a scarf if you're an expert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
You get a scarf and you get sunglasses or like really fancy sunglasses.
Oh.
Okay. Lights that. They're pretty hot.
They're pretty hot.
Yeah. Use a dog or cat. Pet names. Interesting.
How
Yeah.
about do like animals? That's a good.
Yeah.
Dog
Yeah.
or cat. Yeah.
That
An
would be a
avatar.
fun activity, creating avatars for
Yeah.
people to pick from.
Yes. You can really explore your illustration skills because
Yeah.
you guys are both really good at illustration based on
Be a fun
yesterday.
activity.
Could be fun.
We could even have a mentor builder. We need to
Yes.
be careful with avatars and animals. Why, Alyssa? Cultural awareness.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Should we
Culturally
vote?
aware avatars. I see.
I can't wait for the voting. That was the
So-
best part.
Okay. So the voting is actually once we have the next round
Yes.
too, because there's a lot of overlap
know.
right
Yeah.
now.
I know.
So
We'll go down to 4 and 4.
yeah. So we're gonna
Okay.
Back to the drawing board.
get inspired by
Okay,
each
great.
other's ideas. And
You can
we'll-
use this too.
Oh, thank you. But we don't, I only need one paper
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
Let me get set up, and then we'll set the timer.
Maybe objects like flowers or trees would work. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
could work too.
Because you
inanimate
have the whole
objects.
beach theme too. Maybe
We
there's
did, yeah.
shells.
We were, funnily
Palm
enough, we were thinking
trees.
about personifying the conch and
Yeah.
having different kinds of fun conch shell icons.
Yeah.
That could be something.
Yeah.
Eyeballs.
Lobsters.
Lobsters, dolphins, who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
There was an interesting comment about the paper bag that it
Yeah,
communicates the idea of someone being ashamed to show their
Oh,
face.
That's interesting.
Maybe
We
a
should-
happy.
We should explore that.
We didn't
the
think
happy
about that
paper bag.
yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What could be a good way to show anonymity then? Sal?
Yes, Sal, give us suggestions.
Give us ideas, Sal.
We're open to suggestions.
Just gonna draw the borders before
How
setting
long
the
should we
time.
Fruit?
set?
I'm gonna draw this first. The borders.
Yep.
Masquerade. That's what Lee
Masquerade.
liked from yesterday.
Who
There are
said
many
masquerade?
fans of-
Oh yes.
Lee.
There are many
We
fans
did.
of
That is a
Masquerade.
fun idea.
Yeah, I mean, you have the sketches, so you can always go back.
We could, yeah. Let's
Yeah.
show them what we had
Fruits
yesterday.
and
This
foods.
is what we had yesterday. If these are some of the ideas for
Yeah.
anonymity. We're just getting set up.
And this whole thing makes
see.
it seem like fun.
Could do 10 minutes
10
again. We
minutes.
have time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We're gonna
back to
do
time.
we're gonna do reviews of the submissions in 28 minutes.
All right, we set our timer to 10 minutes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it seems like the masquerade fun is more positive. Yeah, that's actually really interesting. Because you want to keep it positive, right?
Yep.
The Wonder Woman is getting compliments too.
Does she look like Wonder Woman?
Yeah. Planets or stars? Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. I think you are going to get lots of good ideas after this 3 days
For sure.
to keep going.
So I want to bring back the avatar and keep the shading. So I'm wondering how I can do that.
What's a good avatar? Fruits. Someone likes fruits. I'll be a pumpkin.
There was suggestions on fruits. There were suggestions on foods, planets, stars.
Very
Inanimate
interesting.
objects.
What about beach stuff? Other beach
stuff.
stuff.
Stars again.
Yep.
Okay, let me start this.
Should we switch to? Oh wait. You're
Yeah,
watching.
yeah.
Oh wait, we're seeing the iPad.
Yeah, we can keep switching between the two.
Yep. Wait, you're not there yet. I
Yeah.
spoke too soon.
That's fine. People can watch me thinking.
So this is your default. Let's see, what else did I like? Maybe we want something really big. And then you get smaller. So there's some sort of visual hierarchy. Planets or stars? We'll do
Flowers. Flowers are always good. Thank you, Gabrielle. Are you still looking for any like addition to problem areas? Like, 'cause I can see the list behind us. Are you looking for any feedback?
We do want to make that list as exhaustive as possible.
So if you have any suggestions from the chat on the problem areas that you see behind us, if something is missing and you want to add it, let us know.
response time and distance. Hmm. 10 minutes.
Different shells.
Different shells.
We love
You
the
have
shell
beach,
idea.
beach theme.
We do.
Maybe it could be different based on locale where you are.
Could be.
And right now you're looking at the US. I mean, you're obviously trying to focus on one market, so to
Yeah.
speak. So you're looking in the US, but then expanding.
Eventually.
Yeah, there is scope to expand.
Great.
Slack is a different.
Where are those colored pens? I think look at that.
Here you
Thank
are.
you.
Let me first draw one more. How are we doing on time? A little less, like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yes, 23 minutes until the challenge deadline.
Different
I think it's a
shells,
good one
different
today.
shells, Different shells.
There's a lot more applause behind us.
I know.
No entry sign. Closed curtains. What is that?
I think those are ideas
Oh, for anonymity. Got it.
for anonymity.
What can we think of? Filters. Very good filters.
Yeah. And another idea is to use the blur feature in the
Nice,
photo.
yeah.
Yeah, that could help. I think there was one of the ideas yesterday. There was the pixelate.
The pixelate.
Yeah.
That's sort of similar.
Yeah, something similar. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be elegant.
Mhm.
Blur.
What are you guys going to be doing tomorrow? I'm curious.
We are going to be talking about incentives, ways to incentivize mentors and mentees to use all yours. So that answers that other question you asked us earlier today, like how are we going to get that initial user group?
Right, because
Yeah.
I think that's I mean, for anything that has socially generated content,
Yeah.
it's very important that you launch with
Yes.
content
Very true. Very
that
true.
you're actually interested in having.
Yep. Okay, that sort of explains what I want.
Mm-hmm. The applauses continue. The blur in their initials. Yeah. What's your opinion on initials versus a more, maybe someone's using not their real name?
It's up to the person, really. So we can't restrict them. We can't tell them you should use only initials. If they want to go with a pseudonym, they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think of like second degree or third degrees on LinkedIn, you think of people who have like, become like Sharon R, for example. You don't want to put their.
Yeah. So you have 3 minutes, by the way.
Very
It
little
looks
time.
like Amelia is winning the race right now.
That's so quality
She
and
is
quantity.
sketching.
She has 3 sketches, but she also is digitally sketching. I don't know
Yeah.
if that makes a difference.
Favorite books in UX design? Lean UX
Oh,
is
that's
pretty
a great
good.
question. Do you have any, like from just,
For books,
yeah.
I'm reading this book by Dan Safer on microinteractions at the moment. Reading and rereading that actually, because I've been very interested in that space recently.
Would you recommend it?
I would highly.
Hey,
Yes.
Okay.
Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie. What about you, Amelia?
Lean UX is really good, I think. It offers a really interesting perspective. Because it's not, it talks about UX as more than just, like, sometimes people just think UX is visual design. But like in our inclusive design exercise, it's more than just a sketch or colors or typography. It's everything.
Right.
It's about the entire conversation.
Agreed. What about books for people who are getting started with design? Can you think of anything?
Well, people are going to laugh when I say this, but it is a classic, Design for Everyday Things.
I love that.
So yeah, for anyone who wants to get started, please read that one.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Great.
Did you used to go to a lot of networking events when you first started?
Not really. So my company used to organize interdepartmental events where people didn't really know much about UX, so there was a lot of evangelizing that needed to happen in the beginning. I was a sole UX designer in my first company. So
Hey, Talon. He also has a suggestion. A list
Yeah.
apart.
Definitely. I think networking events are nice because you get to meet people who are in different industries and also different, from different types of companies. Like sometimes you'll meet someone at like a consulting agency and you can say, hey, oh, your agency is doing really cool things. I'm doing something similar at my place. So you can compare and see who's doing what tools you're using.
Yep.
It's just like a good place for conversation.
Agreed. Oh,
Okay,
time's
that's
up.
time.
Todd's clock's on.
And we're up.
Okay.
Yep.
And you each have 4 sketches, so
Yeah.
good
do.
job.
All right.
Go ahead.
So we'll start with this one. This is Choose Your Mentor, Choose Your Own Adventure. So it defaults to your the person who you match with, your all ears chosen mentor, by how many categories they've experienced that are similar to yours. And then there's someone shaded off in the back as your secondary mentor, which you can select and you can scroll to as well. So this defaults to 2 choices. On the right, it's something similar as well, except there's a first choice and it's choose your expert. In this case, it's a planet. Your first choice pops up, and then there's a secondary and a third tertiary choice, and that's based on other categories users might find important, whether it's response time or distance. So you get 2 other options. So in this one, you get 3 options, and you can select who your mentor should be or could be.
So does that mean when the user sees that screen, they only see the suggestions and not the numbers itself straight away? Because these are all yours recommended.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to dig deeper, they could.
Yes, exactly. So they can swipe, or in this case, scroll. And let's see. Whoa. Similarly, this is your best mentor. I was thinking about this in terms of kind of like the Tinder or Bumble
That's
kind
what I thought the first one was, actually. I thought it was a swipe left and right.
It is kind of, except you don't, well, I guess you know them on the left swipe. But yeah, so, but you can go back, and there's no, you don't not get to pick someone because you swiped left on them. So this version gives you your best mentor, and it kind of takes over the Tinder, your matches, kind of similar matches, and just brings it under your best mentor. So you have other options, like a fish, a jack-o'-lantern, or a snail. The last category, it gives you an image of your first choice mentor, a secondary choice, and it shows how many of the categories you're looking for that are similar. So you can say, oh, this is my best match, and maybe that person has experienced similar things. That person might have 4 similar categories, and what are the categories?
Interesting.
So that's what I've got here.
What's that one again? The corner one?
Oh, that's the secondary,
secondary
person.
one.
They're shaded out,
Nice.
blurred
nice.
out.
I like that concept.
Cool.
It's kind of a nice use of space with the triangles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little
absolutely.
different.
Awesome. So let's look at the
Okay.
next 4. So I took your advice and brought back the avatar and the name. So we have a space for that on the left-hand side. But I was wondering what would be the best way to still have that the ability to show the shading while also having the avatar, because if I listed that on top and then I had the icons below it, then you're creating a divide and you can't have that, smooth gradient that we want to quickly skim the list. So I've moved it to the side, and we still have this icon bar at the top, which lists your sort options. So at the start, again, I'll only have one thing selected, which would be the problem match. But then I can choose 2 more. So we're restricting the number just so that people don't go crazy with the sort options. But again, it's up to them.
So it's like a toggle.
Yeah.
It is like a toggle. 3 would be recommended, because beyond that, so it's unlikely that you also want like experience and location and response time and the number of.
That's a lot.
That is a
Yeah,
lot. That's
that is
asking
a
a lot.
lot,
Yeah. So I guess we could give them the freedom, but this would be recommended. So I've selected those 3. So on each row, I can see the numbers for those 3 selected options. So again, it's sorted based on those 3 categories, and you have both color and shading. So super dense shading for the ones that are higher in number and less for the ones that go down. That was one. And this one brings in the recommended mentor that you were talking about. So you have a list at the top which shows the recommended mentors as just styles, and you're not showing the numbers in that case because you're trusting All Ears, and All Ears is telling you that these people are recommended, and if you want to dig deeper, you can by tapping on that icon. And then you have all below the recommended, and for each of those you are able to see the numbers, because in this case you have to make the decision.
You're getting some feedback on nice sketches and great
Thank you.
icons.
So this next one is inspired by Amelia's concept on the carousel that you had. So I have here at the very top a moving carousel that would have just tiny thumbnail versions of each mentor with just the avatar and color codes for each of the selected problem categories. So without having to read anything, but just looking at the color and the shading, you can skim and see which mentor might work for you. And then you tap on one and you see the enlarged version of that person. And as you keep swiping, you can see in detail the larger version.
So funny, we both came up with that idea as our bottom left corner.
I know, love that. This last one just talks about an interaction. So to view the details of a mentor, a suggested mentor, instead of tapping, you long press on each because you want tapping to directly launch and start the chat. So long press could show more information.
That's great.
So yeah, those are my 4.
Cool. We have 11 minutes until submission time is up. So what's next, ladies?
Yeah, so traditionally how this is done is the designers participating also vote. So
we can vote. Oh, can I vote?
the 3 of us could vote. Yeah, you should vote too. And our audience should vote as well.
Okay.
So let's quickly put together that poll. Send you guys the link.
Yeah.
Yes.
My laptop is super far away.
And then you'll be digitizing this in XD. That's the last step, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's name these things. We could pick, there is some overlap.
Yeah.
This is
So
carousel.
we could pick
definitely.
3 and just put 3 on there.
Yep.
I think there's enough overlap for that.
I
So just
agree.
carousel.
Carousel is a repeater, for sure.
What is that by the repeater?
These 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just one's on the top, the other one's on the bottom.
Yeah. Is repeater another option, are you saying?
Oh, no, sorry.
Just
Just
Part
carousel.
of the carousel.
Repeating,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, right, get it. Okay.
Recommended?
Recommended. I think that needs to be melded into whatever concept we pick in the end. Recommended mentor. That's a high level requirement.
We can call that one gradient.
Gradient.
Or icons, whichever.
Yes.
Icon plus gradient.
Yep.
Gradient shading too, because we want to consider color blindness.
Swipe left.
So that would go into the carousel.
This is
That
true.
would
This is true. It's
merge
the
in.
same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else
What's
do we
the
have?
triangle one?
That's
called?
the secondary recommendation.
Secondary, yeah. So we can say
Recommended
secondary.
plus
Yeah.
secondary. I feel like all of these together would make a great solution.
That would be what a client would advise you if you're presenting. Can you
want
just
everything.
blur everything into one?
Maybe long press.
Long press
Yeah.
too. That again is a sub feature, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Let's think of those 3.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're
let's-
doing just 3. So anyone in the chat can vote.
So we're gonna
And
paste
still
this.
voting.
Yes.
We have this job.
Create. Okay. Which are the following layout options? Okay.
Dot voting.
Oh, I have some lorem ipsums.
Don't
That
vote
is
for
so
Lauren.
strange. Let's quickly write the right one. Just so that there's no margin for error. So we had, carousel.
Carousel.
We had the icons plus
Recommended. I think
Gradient.
it came up.
Shading.
Okay.
Oh, it did? What is the last? Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recommended.
How do we get to vote? Are we doing the
We are gonna do dot
dots?
stickers.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, cool. And you brought your own posted?
We did. Okay, that's it, right? Carousel icons plus gradient shading, recommended mentor plus secondary mentor.
Yep.
And we're gonna
Yeah.
allow comments, so feel free to comment. And sharing the link.
You'll share it directly in the chat, right?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So anyone in the chat, please vote. Help us decide.
What's your favorite? Oh wait, we're gonna dot vote, so we'll find
I will.
out.
Is it anonymous? Do I get to wear a brown bag?
You can take your bag. So these are the four.
I'm like trying to get to the dots.
Let's put both under the camera so people can see it.
Sounds
Oh
good.
yeah, the one is on the
This
iPad.
one too.
now.
Oh, yes.
I'm getting part.
Let's
Okay.
see, let's move it
Yeah, just
here.
tiny bit.
Wait, but some of them are kind of combined.
They are. So
Yeah.
that's okay. So you can vote. You can use 2 stickers each.
Okay, I'll just do one because some of them are combined.
Okay.
And
You can use one
Should
more
I go?
if
There
you
we go.
want.
should I go?
Yes.
I'm gonna vote for the
Actually,
gradient.
we should all vote at
recommend-
the same time.
Okay.
Yes.
So that we're not influenced by each
Okay.
other's. You can 2 each.
All right.
2 each.
Tell me
Great,
when.
thanks.
Oh wait, are we getting 2?
You're getting 2. Everyone gets 2.
Okay.
So it'll just give us 30 seconds to decide.
Should we have a time limit for?
No.
Okay, we're voting. Not for us.
Not for us. So can everyone access the link? Could someone shout out? It
Yes.
works, right?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully.
Great.
That means it works.
Yes.
All right.
Val reposted it. Thank you, Val.
Thanks, Val.
You've
Thank
been
you,
helping
Val.
us. Tell me when to go. I'm ready. Thanks, Paco.
Thanks,
you.
Paco.
That's awesome. There is quite a bit of overlap. So
Yeah,
we'll
it's hard
sort
to
that
pick.
out when we bring it together.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing 2 after this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1 sketch and then 1 in XD.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Is
We
everyone
ready?
ready?
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God. We did the same thing.
That is very cool.
There's a lot of. It
There
seems
is.
like it's yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like we did the same, sort of.
Okay,
one's
so
too, this
let's
one's
see what our audience has to say.
Yeah.
View results.
Okay.
Yeah, they aligned with us so far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're thinking alike.
Yes, if anyone wants to vote last
We'll
second.
give you, 1 more minute.
1 more minute. Voting on a
refresh this.
layout, actually.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we definitely want the recommended mentor.
Yep.
Awesome. Always. Yep. Mentor is right.
Thanks, Val. And there is 4 minutes left for the submission. So in 4 minutes, we're going to look
Yeah.
at some challenges.
Awesome. So we're going to look at the final set of
Refresh.
results.
Yeah.
Great. So we have recommended as the top option. Coming in second, icons plus gradient shading, and then carousel.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone,
Thanks.
Thank you.
for the insight. So we have 2 rounds left.
Yep.
The third round is where we bring everything together in one sketch, where we're going to be looking at the paper together and drawing together. And the last step is to create the wireframe version of this on XD.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So do we want to wait or just get started?
Let's get started.
How long?
It looks
we
like
do?
we have a lot of
Good.
codes. We can
think
get
it shouldn't
started
take
and
us too
then
long.
we'll take a
5?
pause if we
Yeah,
have to.
let's take 5 minutes.
Great.
So how do we want to bring the 2 top options together? So we definitely want recommended mentor
I think
and bring in the gradient shading.
yes. I think there's an opportunity to put a recommended mentor, like a first and then secondary, and then put the categories underneath, and then they could slide up.
You want to sketch that up real quick?
Sure. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a rough sketch.
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. Something like you got your recommended.
Mm-hmm.
You got your secondary,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and then you got all the categories, the icons that matches. And maybe it's like 4 categories.
Yeah.
And then there might be a, I guess if you select,
Right.
yeah.
So I guess we could
Something
also
like
bring
that.
in the icon bar on top. So this is referring
true.
to the problem areas alone.
Yes.
Okay, so we could also iterate. So let's get one sketch out.
I might be changing my mind on the triangles.
Yeah.
Because those might be difficult to do with a lot of the images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you might have to have very specific images that you
Yeah.
design specific. Triangle is kind of a difficult
It is.
shape.
You're right. We'll switch to squares.
Square is
for now.
easier, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have those icons on top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's draw that.
And we have 1.5 minutes for the challenge submission. For anyone who's out there creating an XD.
And
Hurry
we
up.
want to have it's a carousel of recommended,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So let me just
Like
say-
that defaults to a primary and a secondary.
Yeah. Just 2
I think
for now.
for now.
Yeah.
Because then I guess when you swipe to the secondary, then it'll become the primary, and then there'll be someone else. So
Right.
you know there's
Right.
always someone there. Kind of like the thought process behind owl ears.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is primary. And this is secondary.
Yep.
So let's draw what do we want to draw? A leaf as the primary.
Yep. It's fall.
It's fall.
Very, very seasonal.
That's the name of that's a pseudonym. And then let's say we
Summer or winter.
have snowflake.
And
Okay.
Kevin has feedback for you. He thinks that you
Yes.
need category choices always at the top.
Yep, so we have the icon bar at the
Yep.
top, which are the category choices. So at the moment, let's say we have it set at problem match. So that's the puzzle piece
first
icon.
one?
Yep. So in that case, I would see at the bottom which are the problem categories I listed and which
Yeah.
are the ones are matching, right?
Exactly.
So how do we want to show that?
We could do it like a gradient like that, maybe.
Cool.
Or
So the gradient would work when we're comparing a lot of things.
5 categories or something,
Yeah.
like a number, maybe it's like 5 categories. And then it
That's-
could show the first 2 or 3, and then it could be ... Because you don't
Right.
want to overwhelm people.
Right.
Or see more.
Right. So I have the name of the category. And then the shading here.
Yep.
For it. So I feel like we're mixing 2 different aspects.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we should just go with category.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
it simple.
So this one would just highlight which of the problems are
Perfect.
overlapping
Yes.
for the 2 of them.
Yes.
So this is not the gradient side of things. The gradient side would come in when we move away from the recommended page and go to the full list.
Yeah, yeah.
If say I didn't get a response from my recommended person, let's say for example,
I agree.
then I would go to the full list.
Because you want a match. You
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
a half match.
So maybe we could have an icon somewhere here that shows the full list. We
Yeah.
need a better icon, not a hamburger, but yeah, so the full list of mentors. So I click on that, takes me here. And once again, we have the icon categories, problem categories at the top. And this is where we would see the gradient, right?
Yep.
So we could bring in this page over
Exactly.
here. So you still have the name, avatar plus name. And then based on whatever categories you've selected,
Yeah, the detailed
Yeah.
view.
only those, let's say I only chose 2. I chose problem match. That's my jigsaw puzzle icon. And I chose years of experience. That's my bicep that I'm always drawing a funny way.
Yeah.
Okay, same icons. And you have the number written here,
Yep,
and then
yep.
this is where the shading comes in.
Val thinks you have superpower to draw straight lines. It is. I mean, I'm fascinated because nowadays we don't get to do a lot of things with our hands.
This is very true.
I personally can't draw a straight line.
In my industrial design days, I had to draw thousands of straight lines.
That's why now
Yes.
it comes out. It's industrial design background.
So we have color plus shading. Super dark, slightly lighter, same. And we could also explore different other hatching options like dots or whatever else.
Textures.
Yes, then we have more.
Dot, dot, dot.
Yes.
See more.
Dot, dot, dot. There you go. So we have two views of the mentor screen. One is the recommended list,
Great.
and then we have the
The
full
detail.
list,
Cool.
detail list.
Are you going to be digitizing now?
We are.
Okay, cool. Before we do that, let's look at the challenges. We have
do it.
See
two
the
lined up.
challenges.
Yes. So just a quick recap. This is the template. I don't think you've seen but this is the template that we gave. And the task was using this template in XD to create a one page, which is an agency website, the team page. So having names and design and prototype. Using repeat grid transitions and Pathfinder. So there was suggested color schemes and additional resources. So stock photography and profile photos. So based on that, we have 3 submissions. We have Adriane. I hope I'm pronouncing names right. So it looks like this is the team page. I'm missing the bottom. Oh, I'm not missing the bottom part. Yeah, and we have some information on the bottom. So top area, hero,
Nice.
everyone's profile, and then banner, and then the bottom navigation. What do we
Very
think?
clean.
Oh wait,
Oh, it's interactive.
wait! I can do.
Great.
Oh great! Oh, so you can see each person
Nice.
larger. Am I missing anything
Was there
else?
an interaction when it comes up? I missed that.
Yeah, it's a modal. It's a
Yep,
nice.
it's a modal. What do you guys
Mike
think?
Jones.
I like it. It's elegant. I like that there's not too much information on there.
I like that. It's very minimalist.
Yeah. I would lighten that gray though, around the gray used on each tile.
We should look
could
at it
be
bigger.
lighter. Yeah.
Hold on a second. It's taking a second to load
Yeah.
up. Oh, this is way better view.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
opening this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would maybe increase the size of the navigation
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
yeah,
it's, it's a little bit harder to read. I mean, I'm not reading it 100% also, but you want to be really clear on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
That's true.
cards are also, they're very similar to the background gray, so I agree with Sharon about maybe making one more visually distinct.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the use of color. It's very simple though. It's gray, yellow,
Blue.
Minimalistic.
like a bluish gray. Yeah.
Cool. Can we look at the modal again?
Yes.
Pop
Nice big
over.
picture.
Yeah.
And big picture. Maybe some like a bio would be nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So we do have the space.
Or
Yeah,
just
the white
something
space
funny.
right there.
I mean,
Something
he seems
funny.
like he's smiling.
Like a
Yeah.
quote or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
quote. A quote would be nice.
Something more about that person.
Yeah. The transition was good though.
Yeah.
Transition is very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it looks like the repeat grid was used, your
Yeah.
favorite feature.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is quite a neat feature.
Have you tried to just drag a folder of images onto repeat grid?
Not yet.
This is how you get all of these
wow.
photos in.
Very
And
cool.
also
Convenient.
names too. It's really quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Great job.
Good job, Ariane.
Ariane?
How do I get
Where is the name? Oh, there it is.
Adriani.
Ariane, that's right.
Cool.
Adriani.
Good job. So we go to the next one. It's Mincho.
Nice use
Wow,
of gradient.
yeah.
Very nice.
I love the
Let's see.
colors.
Yeah.
How do I go? Oh, make it bigger. Here it is. So we can focus on it. The spot
nice.
dot, a little bit of branding.
Very, yes, very branded.
The red, the hint of red is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the use of circle
Yeah.
Yep.
everywhere, even in the background.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Circles everywhere.
Awesome. Can we scroll back up?
Yep. I'm trying to find where the
I
spot
think
is.
it's the pop out.
Oh, here it is. I found it.
Wow, that is fancy.
That is
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
We have a bio here.
Yeah.
Making use of the real estate. That's awesome. That red circle's a nice touch.
is.
Overlaid on top of the image like that.
Yeah, I like that. I can't really judge the size of the type because I think we're looking at it much smaller.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but it's a nice size quote.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. So if I were to change anything, it would be the spacing. And overall, in the application, I feel like the spacing could be looked into again. Like if you look at the very top, there seems to be less space between the top edge of the screen and the top edge of the icon. And also the
You're talking about this?
there, and then the space between the top edge and the right side icon is different. So the top edges of those two aren't aligned. And also, if you made use of some sort of a grid, like a 12-column grid or something, and made the people icons aligned towards the
Within the grid,
within
yeah.
the center, and space out the icons based on the grid, I think that'll pull it together really nicely.
Yeah. I think for me, I would. Can you click on the modal again?
Yes. Here we go.
So, what I guess pops out to me is the X. The clothes almost seems similar to the. I'm not sure what that icon is. Yeah, that.
The menu.
The
This is
menu.
where the navigation lives, I think.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the clothes, so I would probably do something to visually distinguish it. Maybe change the X to just something red and more, maybe a little bit like a heavier weight. Because right now it seems very similar to the navigation. So that's probably the only thing I would make a change for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that this is interesting, but since it's a website and you have the space, you could do, in this, at least in the web view, if you go to mobile, you can collapse it, but here you could really spell out the navigation. It would be
Very
easier.
Yeah.
Cool, and we have one more. It is, or two more actually, Sangeeta.
Wow.
Wow.
This is colorful.
Yeah.
So let's go into, here it is. Meet our team.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's got a fun vibe to it.
Yeah.
I don't think I can scroll. Yeah.
What I like about it is the fact that the background is super colorful, and
Yeah.
because of that,
Wait.
Sangeeta has made the thumbnail backgrounds gray, which is a very good decision. So again, I would pay attention to spacing. So it seems like the tiles aren't equally spaced out.
Yeah. Repeat
So-
grid might be able to help with that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm trying to see where the click, if there is another page, but I don't find one. I can't find it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah. My concern will be with this paragraph. Usually it's really
Alignment.
difficult to read something that's, the line length is so long. So maybe break it into columns somehow.
Yeah.
I think what I would probably do a little differently is I might change the color of the cards because it's hard to see the social icons. So it's an accessibility kind of issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could also consider white social icons on
Yeah.
top of that.
It's true.
Right, because you can actually change those.
Yeah.
You have the right to.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just monochrome.
But if they were white, they'd be really similar to the name and the title.
That's true.
Yeah.
So maybe a different color, an alternative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. And I'll let you get started. I think we have one more. I just
more?
gotta pull it up really quick. Okay, here we go. I think we have Dorina. This is
Oh, it's a
finance
finance
app.
app.
I think this is not, maybe it's a different challenge. I think it's from other days. I remember seeing those.
This is very detailed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get to the
Nice thought process,
team page.
Zarina.
I think, oh, here it is,
Here is
team
the team page.
page. That it's actually really nice to put all the challenges in one.
It is.
Yeah. So here it is. We try to look at it larger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is good.
Okay.
So we have a nice banner at the bottom,
Yeah.
top. I like the colors. They kind of remind me of your app a little bit with the greens and blues.
Yeah. It's a nice color palette.
It's a nice color palette.
So I would encourage exploring typefaces a little bit more. This is a clean approach, which works. It gives a very clean look to the interface, but I think you could get a little bit more adventurous with typeface.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And also the navigation, I think, could be a little bit larger. I can't really see it so well, but it could definitely be larger.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to judge because we're not looking at it how it's supposed
Yeah,
to.
you're
But
right.
I would say that the relationship between the footer type size and the navigation, it should probably be the same.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't think there is anything to click on, or at least I'm not finding if there is an overlay. Oh, maybe there is. No.
Is
It's
it
just
the
a
next
zoom.
page in the Behance?
Maybe. Oh, it is.
It is.
Ah,
Good job.
it's a modal.
Yeah, it's a modal.
Yeah, it's a model.
I would maybe add some copy again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And alignment. So the text, I think it would look better if it is left aligned, but if you are going with the center aligned, then all of them should be center aligned.
Yeah.
It seems to be two different things.
Yeah.
Something to keep in
And there's tons of fantastic typefaces on the TypeKit site,
Yeah.
and it's integrated into the Adobe ecosystem. So there's great typefaces that you can choose from and get adventurous, try things out.
Absolutely.
Okay, should we go to XD because we only
Let's do
we
it.
don't have a lot of
We're
time.
quite short on time.
Yeah, we only have 10
I
minutes.
have 6%. Can I use your
Yeah, of
computer?
course.
We have 10 minutes.
All right.
so-
let's
Okay,
do
we
some
need
math.
Todd's clock.
We need Todd's clock. Amelia is
Gotta
gonna
keep
be
this on it.
Thank you
digitizing.
everyone who sent your challenge, and we hope that we were helpful with the feedback. Great job, and
Great
keep
job,
designing.
Yeah, thanks for sharing your work.
All right.
Let's do
finish that
10 minutes. Whenever you're ready. I'll start it again once you're ready.
Okay. give me
And
just a sec.
my favorite question to ask in the
let me
chat:
pull it
what's your favorite typeface?
Ooh, good question.
And you too, also.
Favorite typeface?
Avenir.
That's a
I'm
good
a
one.
Roboto person.
Have you been designing for Android? Is that why?
I've been using it a lot lately. I like dream in Roboto now.
Interesting.
You can copy paste from this one.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna
Put
try
it
to go
in full
for.
screen.
What are our wireframes?
Oh, are they here?
Yes. Let's do it.
I'm gonna move this.
Should I keep it here?
Yeah,
We
let's
don't
keep
need
it
my
there.
computer.
So these are our current.
So this is the list.
This is what we currently have. These are the list of problem categories. So we want to go to the mentor list. That would be
Okay.
this one.
Got
Yeah.
it. Wait, how do we select artboard?
Just by clicking on the name. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna do a copy.
Have you thought about the message not being at the top?
Not taking up that space for
Yes.
the message. That could be one iteration for sure.
Yeah.
Again.
Like maybe putting it on the bottom, or minimizing it. Kind of
Yeah.
how, you know how Spotify, when you see the song that's playing, you could have it really small, or you could like
Right.
go into it, like
Right.
make it larger.
Right. Yeah, so you have more space to see more mentors.
Yes.
Take our back.
Font Poppins. I don't know what that one looks like.
Poppin sounds really interesting.
Yes.
Poppins. Cool name. This, you could reuse that icon bar,
Yeah.
the sort bar.
Can I grab these two? Oh, it's like all grouped.
Yeah.
Ungroup.
So you can hold command and then you command click, chooses the layer.
will just Alt.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Or do Command C, Command V, and then you can do Command drag. Command's great for individual layer selection.
And yes, tomorrow, thank you Val for the reminder. Tomorrow we're going to do portfolio reviews for the last 20, 30 minutes in the segment. And actually everyone else before us is also doing portfolio reviews, so get your pieces together, and we'd love to look at your Behance profile and give you feedback.
Absolutely. I'd be excited to do that.
Yes.
See what everyone's up to, creative work.
Okay.
And take to those guys.
Good idea. Just gonna reuse the icons.
Yeah.
Oh, so Poppins is an Adobe Typekit font. All right, I'm gonna look it up. I'm always shopping for something new. I mean, on Typekit, you can get anything.
What's your favorite font?
Right now, I don't know. This is a hard question.
I like judged based on your answer.
I know. It's such a hard thing to answer.
It tells a lot about people, though.
I think it changes depending on what I'm trying to create. I think when I was in school, I was a little bit more set on my fonts. I used to use Universe for everything because they had tons of weights.
Yeah.
And now it depends on what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Have you used Roboto Condensed at all?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, only designing for mobile web on Android. Yes.
I like to use it in Keynote sometimes.
Oh, well, we can only use the official Adobe font.
Right?
That's why.
Okay, that makes sense.
But there's so many.
Yeah.
We have options.
Yeah.
All right. So recommended.
Do we have tiles anywhere else in the app that we could reuse? I wonder.
We have these guys, so I could.
We could, pull from that.
See.
So,
How are we doing on time? I think I can only do one screen.
5 minutes.
Okay.
That's fine.
Montserrat, yes, it's a great typeface.
We are left aligning.
Yep.
And I will just do giant squares.
That's fine. And if we have time, we can pull in icons again from that list.
Yeah. Can we do a shadow? Nice. And
We do have the paper bag if you want it.
we should
Oh yeah, you
definitely do
could
that.
use that
Yeah.
for a placeholder.
That's on the bottom right somewhere in the artboard.
Yeah.
All right, we got a shadow. Should we do the border? Nicer without the border.
I like it without the border, I think. Looks clean.
Cool. All right, and I will do the
Yeah, we could use
drag
that.
this up. Too high. It's the 26. I'll go 30.
What's our audience saying? Someone likes Proxima Nova.
Yes.
That's a classic.
Yes, absolutely. And Munir, you have until tomorrow to organize your Behance portfolio. It's a long time.
It is. Longer than 2 hours at least.
Yes, absolutely.
Oops. I need to come in.
Center Gothic.
Center Gothic.
Depends on application.
I grab this one. I grab it.
So you want the tile?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. So I want to create a border around this for our, no, actually, we want shadow.
Shadow, that's nice.
I'm going to make it 5, maybe a little heavier. Ooh, that's really, really, really.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
3.
Could reduce the alpha of the shadow.
Maybe 2?
It's very dark though.
It's very dark.
The shadow, but you're changing the tile. Oh wait, you're changing the tile appearance, not only.
Do you also want to change
shadow.
the color of the tile? Because
What should we make it? Let's make it blue.
or that yellow background.
Ooh, good
The
point.
background yellow, just subtle. So because the opacity of the tile's been reduced now,
Yeah.
if you make that 100 and then click on the black
The shadow.
shadow box, yes, and then change the 100% there to 20 or something.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, changed back. 30, I think, is a good number.
What do you think
Oh,
about
good. 20 works. Yep.
Railway font
Railway's classic too.
and type kit?
Go for filling it with this color. It's a little darker.
Yep.
So Dorina is getting a lot of good
Those
suggestions
are the
actually.
problem.
If you
Oh,
take
no, we
all
can
these
just,
and
like,
play with
copy
them,
and drag it.
pretty. I think
But we just
the
want
designs
text,
will
so
be
I'm just gonna-
changed.
Oh, yeah. Each problem category does have an icon, though.
True.
Might as well use it. Oh, that isn't working. Never mind.
One thing.
Yeah, one thing.
Yeah. How are we doing on time?
You have 2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes.
No, you have 1
And
minute.
We're
We have
doing
1
once.
minute.
Okay.
Because we want to. Okay, maybe while you're designing,
Yeah.
Sharon can tell us what you're going to be doing tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
So we can
sure.
get everyone excited
For sure.
and to come back.
Yep, absolutely. Tomorrow we're going to be tackling the question of how might we incentivize mentors and mentees to use all ears. So we have some ideas that we'll be talking about in the first few minutes. But then again, we're going to be doing some brainstorming, we're going to be sketching out some ideas. We want to hear from our audience what they would recommend as what would draw you to use all ears, rather. We'd like to hear about that. Do you think free vouchers to Starbucks is a way to go, or what do you think?
Yeah, what
Anything at
inspires
all.
you?
So after that, we'll have that down on post-it notes, on individual notes, and we'll do some card sorting of the ideas. We'll do an affinity grouping of the ideas that we get, and then see how we can bring that into the app as an interface.
That's fantastic.
Yep. And if we have time after that, we'll also go back and review the insights that we gathered over the course of the 5 hours by that point, and see which other areas of the app we could improve based off of those insights.
And we'll be doing portfolio reviews tomorrow. So looks like we're out of time. We gotta get done. We can finish
have a
tomorrow.
wireframe in place.
Yeah.
We can finish tomorrow. So maybe we can quickly look at the schedule for tomorrow to get everyone
Here's
excited.
a rough wireframe.
Oh, we'll look at the wireframe. First the schedule and then the wireframe.
Okay. We'll end
So
with that.
tomorrow the
great.
live stream will start at 11:30 and then we'll be live at 4. So you'll have a creative challenge again, hosted by Marisa Blair, and then 3 other segments, and you can submit your portfolio in any of those 3. So depending on who you want to get reviewed by. So we'll be looking at portfolios and we'll be continuing work on the app. Should we quickly look at the wireframe?
Yeah,
Let's click.
look at what we have.
1 second. Okay. And
That's
thank
Half
you
a second,
everyone for
that's it.
participating. We had fantastic audience again. Thank you, ladies,
Thank you
for
guys so
coming
much.
in.
everyone.
Thank you.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.